Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, you sons of bitches, leave the Jewish people alone. I can't believe it's still happening. I've done some research here. It's wild what isn't making the news and what does. Fake things make the news. Real things don't. So many examples of this. One of my favorites, though, is the Bubba Wallace news story. Hello, everybody. President Trump just spoke at the White House. Very beautiful, honoring the angel moms, those who had their children killed by illegal migrant killers. Happens all the time. Thanks a lot, Joe Biden. Permissive policies of the past. And also Gold Star moms. We all know what a Gold Star mom is. And just a very, very beautiful event there. But this thing is real, and it's anti-Semitism flourishing in America. I never, ever, ever thought it would happen. And a lot of it, folks, is because of jealousy, right? They're jealous of Jewish achievement in America, in the world. You know, there are only, and this is a shockingly small number, 15 million Jews in the entire world. They dominate basically every field, right? Not because there's some sort of cabal, not because there's some sort of whatever the hell you guys come up with on the crazy haters out there. They work hard. They're smart. You know, it's interesting. Some people say, oh, I would be great if only nobody judged me. I would be very successful if only people didn't discriminate against me. They had organized genocide against the Jews, and they keep coming back in the most spectacular way. And I don't know. What other groups, what do they point? It's kind of astounding when you look at it that way. I think, at least. Letitia James, we're going to arrest her, not necessarily for the real estate fraud, not necessarily, although we could, for bringing those fake cases against President Trump, but for her role in promoting Drag Time Story Hour for children, which she attends. This lady, so self-righteously pointing her accusatory finger at President Trump, has a fetish for men who dress up as women in the proximity of children. That's gross and downright criminal. Cut one, please. Cut one.
We need to focus on Donald Trump and his abuses. We need to follow his money. We need to find out where he's laundered money. All of those transactions have happened here in New York City. Tell this president and every other individual that no one is above the law.
Well, if that is true, then we have to do something about this thing with the drag people hanging around with children. And I'm going to go into it again. No other group that needs to be read to, and there are a lot of groups that need to be read to. You got people who can't read in prison. You got people who can't read in old folks' home, not because they possibly are illiterate, but maybe their hearing is bad, or maybe their eyes are bad. They can't read like they used to. They right, things like that. So, why is it that the only reading opportunity that the drag queens show up to is for children? They want to hang around with the kids. Why is that? It's grooming. There it is. That's the tell. It's grooming. Thank you very much, Seth, for showing us the way here. Cut two, if you don't mind. Cut two.
To discuss your book and the things that you...
Uno dos.
I'm a man dressed up as a woman, and I'm here to read stories to children, teach them what diversity is all about.
It's okay to have no hair.
I'm Angel Extra. I am doing Drag Queen Story Hour for the New York Public Library. I was raised Christian. I've always felt that I was gay. When I was growing up, I had to keep my sexuality a secret. So it was kind of hard for me to identify who I was as a child because I was living both lives. Now, I'm just the queen. I read a book earlier. It was called Everyone is Different. This type of activity opens a child's eyes to what being different all about. It has to start somewhere.
It has to start somewhere. What? Perversion? You know, our minds are already difficult enough to manage. They are. They're not user-friendly. You know, children are getting kind of crazy thoughts. You know, they're growing and things are happening on its own. You know, things were happening when we were reading Sally, Dick, and Jane in school. And now you got a freak show showing up. A freak show with serious sexual, who the hell knows what is going on. Now, why does that individual have to be near kids? Why can't they have, I don't know, a fireman come in? Why couldn't they have a nurse come in, a doctor come in, an airline pilot, an engineer, an accountant, you know, just regular people? Why does it have to be the drag queen? Because it's sick and perverted. And there's that money, our money, taxpayer money, and it's happening all over the country. And I already called the FBI, and that was a total bust. Just like the FBI, forever blowing it. Thanks a lot. You guys suck. You guys absolutely suck. You're all about the organization. You're all about the bureau. There are three things I don't like there. Well, two things, federal and bureau. Now, I know I like Cash. I like those guys at the top, and Bongino was there. But it's just a gosh damn organization. And what do organizations do? They become stupid and in defense of the organization, the bureaucracy. So all the time, I got a real crime on my hands. We do. They got men hanging out with kids, and they're not related. It's gross with the dressing like girls. Who does that? If you want to dress like a girl as an adult, fine. Let me know. I'll even show up. What the hell? I've done it all. I don't give a damn. But children, are you crazy? So Kash Patel is the FBI director, and he's made it quite clear. If you see something, say something. Cut 3.
If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. No piece of information is too small. No piece of information is inadequate. We will evaluate it all.
By the way, it's kind of a pain in the neck to do the 1-800-CALL-FBI. You know, like the CA. You got to stare at the numbers. You know what I mean? It's a stretch for me to figure. Anyway, I was able to call the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Every number has like 3 letters, and, you know, I figured it out. And I called the FBI. And this is what happened. Cut 4.
Hello. Thank you for calling the FBI. To continue this call in English, press 1. For Spanish, press 2. For any other language, press 3. This is not a 911 service for taking emergency calls. For emergencies, please call 911.
I know that, by the way. Everybody knows the difference between a tip line and calling 911. But they got to tell you that like 16 times in the call, right? So that takes up about 3 minutes. And then, by the way, doesn't it sound like somebody says, like we woke somebody up at the FBI? The very first thing you hear, don't you hear somebody say, hello? Hello? Cut 4 one more time. Hello?
Hello?
Did you hear that? Doesn't it sound like somebody said hello? Hello? Oh, I got a person. Oh, nope, I got this machine. All right. These machines, AI, they know how to do things, right? I've called those centers before. No. This thing makes Spirit Airlines look like NASA. Okay? Cut 5.
To help us process your call most efficiently, please tell us in a few words what federal violation or national security issue you are calling about.
So they are grooming children in New York City. Clearly, drag time story hour for children
Please listen closely as our menu options have recently changed. To report a tip on an FBI case currently highlighted in the news, press 1.
See? It told me to explain the case. It didn't say dial it in. I started talking, and it's like he didn't hear me. And it went on like this, and on like this, and on like this. And then it needed a million pieces of information about me. And I'm like, all right, I'll tell you, but I have my limits. I was like 20 minutes on the phone and nothing's getting recorded. Nothing. It doesn't seem to anything I do, whatever data I impact. The only thing they got was my phone number. They were very good about that. My date of birth. They were very good about that. And my name. So they got all this stuff about me. I think they even have my social security number. And then other things that would be useful to get this case moving. It pretended to not hear me. I really think it was like pretending. Cut 6.
The state abbreviation is YEAH space NEW space YORK. If this is correct, say yes. If this is incorrect, say no.
I don't know what you just said.
Please say your state or two-letter state abbreviation.
NY.
If you would like to decline and move on, please press 0. If you would like to decline and move on, please press 0. Please spell your city now.
Goodbye, FBI. Thanks anyway. Spell your city now on the phone? How long would that take me to spell New York on the I was like, it doesn't even, can't even figure out what state I'm in. I'm like, NY, New York. Do you live in any $1 billion for that? $1 billion for that system. Minimum. And we pay for it. Well, that's wrong. That's got to change. I may have to. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. What do I do with this information about these poor kids being, potentially who knows what by these drag time story hour readers? It's disgusting. I'm trying to think who was the biggest character that I ever met in school. I remember there was a guy who came in from the Long Island Railroad who told us not to go near the third rail. That was interesting. We got a visit from Ralph Peretta, who was a football player with the San Diego Chargers. I think he was John Smitten's cousin or uncle or something like that. That was cool. But we didn't have any sexual fetish people come in. And now and by the way, pushing back, I'm the ignorant one. I'm the one, right? I'm the one who's causing problems. Oh, no. Oh, we got one of those. What? They'll call me a MAGA. They'll call me a fascist. They'll call me a white supremacist, right? Because I don't think that there should be perverts hanging around with children. Anybody who dresses up in that outfit and hangs around with kids is a pervert, and anybody who goes to one of those things is a pervert. Unless you're going to disrupt it, all right, which I am fully in favor of doing. Hey, Virginia, the Supreme Court in Virginia just smacked down those totally unconstitutional redistricting. They were going to basically make that red state blue by twisting themselves into a pretzel and pretending that it was a majority blue state and making those districts go crazy all over the place. This is a bit of a surprise. Everybody kind of thought that the Virginia Supreme Court was a little bit woke and a little bit left, but the Virginia Supreme Court has killed the Democrats' redistricting scheme. And you know what? The way this is playing out with Tennessee and Texas, the Republicans, the GOP, and I say we, I'm not a Republican, by the way. I can't do it. I can't check that box. Because once Trump is gone, you know what I mean? I don't know. I like MAGA, Make America Great Again party. I'll be all for that. But there's too much with the Republican that I don't like. The Republican Party went all in for Ukraine. I can't go all in for Ukraine. I go all in for America. Okay. If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk. Most people don't think about it until it's too late. Hey, you know who could probably have used one of these things? The people on the cruise ship. The hantavirus, right? The hantavirus. What are you going to do then? Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections or worse. Getting sick right before vacation or on vacation, that can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. And that's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care in a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Packs to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no co-pays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by, and you're going to have a much better experience than I did calling the FBI. All right? So, start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes, and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code Greg at urgentcarekit.com/Greg. That's promo code Greg at urgentcarekit.com/Greg.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. 77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So I'm going through the files just released by the Department of War, the so-called UFOs. And folks, I ain't seeing UFOs. I see one thing that's definitely a helicopter. That ain't no UFO. That's a helicopter. Now, not necessarily to the person who hasn't seen a lot of helicopters or isn't there using their imagination, but that's a helicopter. That ain't a flying saucer. That's a helicopter. Infrared still image captured of unidentified object. Actually below the helicopter. All right. Below the helicopter. All right. So, okay. Never mind. There is a dot below the helicopter. It's a black dot. Also looks like a smudge. Okay, there's a closer look. Now it looks like it's two smudges. Now, the most intriguing footage, and I love this. I love this one. I just don't think it proves much of anything, though. It's a picture from the moon taken by the Apollo 17 astronauts. That's the last time we actually went to the moon, up until Artemis a few weeks ago. And it's got three dots off in the sky in the horizon there. Three dots, three little grayish dots. What are they? Who the hell knows? I would imagine, I don't know. Is it flying? I don't know. I don't think it's much of anything. It looks to me like it could be an anomaly with the film. You know, a lot of the stuff back then, you had to develop it. You had to get it developed. You had to go to Photomat. You had to go into the dark room, right? With the water and the little tubs. Right? And all kinds of stuff happened when you develop film. All kind of little nicks and things could happen to the film. Going through this stuff, it goes way the hell back. Goes all the way back. I think I got a report here from the 1950s. No pictures, just like an incident statement. And they don't read that interesting, to be honest. Here's a picture of file 7808. Coral Rosin and John Cipher. Are those people? Who the hell knows? What do we have here? This file contains an independent report on UFOs written by the French Science Association, which details the results of a study by the Institute of Higher Studies for Nuclear Defense. The file also includes a letter from Carol Rosin in which she notes that she was the spokesperson for von Braun during the last years of his life. All right, now I want to download this. Here we go. I'm downloading it. Ooh, all right. Now, wait a second. This is 48 pages long. Oh, my God!
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, I'm going through this stuff, and look, some of it actually is rather fascinating. Things we have not seen before. mysterious, shiny items flying very, very unusually, very, very rapidly. Now, I know that we're experimenting with drones and all kinds of craft somewhere, Area 51, that kind of thing. But these are well outside of Area 51. They're all over the United States. Nobody can really figure out what these things are. The documents go back about 80 years. 80 years. And it's it's kind of interesting. What the hell is going on here? What are these things? And the more I look at it, okay, it's worthy of a conversation, don't you think? How about this? NASA Apollo 11 UFO report from Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins. Now, this I kind of heard about before. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins described seeing a mysterious, brighter object tumbling past their spacecraft on the way to the moon. We happened to see this one brighter object going by, look like a hollow cylinder. You could look right down in its guts, open book shaped. It was really weird. These were wild. What do you think? We are not alone. According to Apollo 11 was the third crewed mission to the moon and the first to land astronauts on the lunar surface. This document is an excerpt from the Apollo 11 technical crew briefing, which took place on July 31st, 1969. The document highlights 3 observations. 1, an object on the way out to the moon. 2, flashes of light inside the cabin. And 3, a sighting on the return trip of a bright light tentatively assumed by the crew to be a laser. On page 6, TAC 33, lunar module pilot for Apollo 11, Buzz Aldrin. The first unusual thing we saw, I guess, was one day out or something pretty close to the moon. It had a sizable dimension to it. So we put the monocular on it. The crew speculated that it could have been the S4B stage of the Saturn V launch vehicle. Oh, I remember that. And they called up Houston. They said, Houston, where is the location of the S4B? That's a big stage, big hunk of the rocket. And it turned out that the rocket was like 38,000 miles away at that point. It was so far. And obviously what they were looking at wasn't that. Let's see here. The other observation made, gradually accumulated. I don't know whether I saw it the first flight, but I'm sure I saw it the second night. I was trying to go to sleep with all the lights out. I observed what I thought were little flashes inside the cabin, spaced a couple of minutes apart. What else did Buzz Aldrin report? I observed what appeared to be a fairly bright light source, which we tentatively ascribed to be a possible laser. Now, Buzz always had a pretty vivid imagination, right? Was Buzz drinking at this point? Buzz liked to, well, he didn't like to drink, but he became a very big drinker, and had some issues that he talked about. One issue that he talked about, get this. You know, human beings, we're very strange. Buzz Aldrin went to the moon, walked on the moon, came back from the moon in a spacecraft that had never, ever, ever done what he had to do. Land on the moon. I mean, the idea that this thing worked, you can't test it on the Earth, really? They tested it on Apollo 9 and 10. That's it. Apollo 9, they flew it a little bit around Earth. Apollo 10, they took it up toward the moon, but they didn't land it on the moon. And then Apollo 11, he lands this lunar module on the moon. He gets back. Guess what? He's still a colonel in the Air Force. He's a colonel in the Air Force. It's kind of like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? He makes the mistake of staying in the Air Force. So what do we do with Buzz Aldrin? Well, you know, he's the most amazing pilot, basically, who ever lived. Let's make him the commanding officer of test pilot school. All right. That sounds like it could work. You know, man knows how to test things. Guess what? He had never graduated from test pilot school. He had never actually gone there. So he felt inadequate. And get this, the staff there were mean to him. Now, they were jealous of him, right? Totally jealous. But they turned that jealousy into they were snobby with him. Well, you may know space, but we know aeronautics. That's what they would give him a hard time about. You know, in space, there's no air, but there's air, and we have to deal with the air. You're not good at dealing with air. And his greatest thing, they used it against him. Now we have another thing. It's like, wow, that is really wild. It looks kind of fake, though, too. That's fake. That's AI. You know, it's pretty easy to phone in. Like I just called the FBI. People phone in things, report things, show things. This thing, 1996 tether incident occurred when a 12-mile-long tether snapped in space and was immediately swarmed by unidentified orbs of light. Today, we saw incredible images and testimony from NASA Apollo astronauts and other individuals associated with the space program. I never knew we had a 12-mile-long tether. Tether to what? But I'm looking at it right here, and there are it's almost like fireflies are attracted to this strip, this tether in space. Okay, let me see if there's anything else that can convince us. Here's an oddball thing. Ooh, this is from China. It's just some strange thing standing in the middle of the sky, and it's not moving. Carlos, do me a favor, turn it around. We'll hear Chinese people say things in Chinese, but you can tell that they're kind of freaked out about what the hell they're looking at. And so am I. Is this a turning point? An unidentified flying object over New Mexico, April 24th, 1964. Special Agent Arthur Burns, Jr., Federal Bureau of Investigation, stationed at Albuquerque, was at Sirocco, New Mexico, and at the state police office there on a business late afternoon, April 24, 1964. At approximately 5:45 to 5:50, Ned Lopez, radio operator, located about 30 feet down the hall from the state police office, came into the state police office. Mr. Lopez advised Mr. Chavez, the New York State Police, blah, 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 to come into the area 1 mile southwest of Morocco. The call was in relation to some unknown object which landed and has taken off. Agent Burns finished his work in the state police office, went there, got there at approximately 6 p.m., and thereafter proceeded to the site. It may be noted that it has been the observation of Agent Burns that Officer Zamora, known intimately for approximately 5 years, is well regarded as a sober, industrious, and conscientious officer and not given to fantasy. Officer Zamora was noted to be perfectly sober and somewhat agitated over his experience. Special Agent Burns noted 4 indentations in the rough ground at the site of the object described by Officer Zamora. These depressions appeared regular in shape, approximately 16 by 6 inches rectangular. Each depression seemed to have been made by an object going into the earth at an angle about from a center line. Each depression was approximately 2 inches deep and pushed some earth to the far side. Inside the 4 depressions were 3 burned patches of clumps of grass. Other clumps of grass in the same area appeared not to be disturbed. 1 burned area was outside the 4 depressions. There were 3. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff here. And they're saying that the guy checked out. This is interesting. And they go back so many years. This is a 40-page report. Doesn't mean they came from some other planet. Doesn't mean they came from some other galaxy. Could mean they came from Russia. Could mean they came from some smart kid in high school's rocket kit. It could mean a lot of things. What do you think? What do you think? I'm going to look at one more file here. Lots of them, hundreds. How are we going to go? Oh, here's one from Iraq. Okay, let's download this baby. 6 pages. Mission narrative. Okay. Stay with me. Okay, arrived on station to conduct patrol scans. Conducted scans. Cleared to takeoff, returned to base, observed possible UAP flying west to east, did not follow up. Some of this stuff is routine. That looks like a drone. That doesn't mean, they even say unidentified object, possibly a UAV, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle. So, when I was in the military flying, we had bogeys all the time. That means you see something, but you don't know where it came from. Let's see here. Let's try one other. Well, all right. There's some cool videos and there's a lot of reports, but I just would imagine we have human beings. Some people are going to, let me just see if I can do anything with this one. Folks, there's no proof of extraterrestrial life. None. these objects, as intriguing as they are, did not come from another planet. One of the reasons why, if they did, they'd be moving a hell of a lot faster. Do you know how long it would take us to get to the next star? You know how long it would take us to get to the next star where these things could have come from? Okay. Our fastest rocket ever, right? Let's times its speed by 1,000. Okay. Let's say it could go 3 million miles per hour. It's 30,000. Right? You know how long it would take to get to the next star at that speed, 3 million miles an hour? 300 years. 300 years. All right. As my friend Buzz Aldrin said, if there is extraterrestrial life, we're never going to find out about it because it's too far away. Be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So I'm going through all these documents, and it looks like what we have here are reports of UFOs spotted mostly by military pilots, law enforcement, people like that, some general public. The earliest one I find here is from 1945. Pilots report the following. An aluminum-colored cylinder-shaped object about 12 feet long and 1 foot in diameter was observed floating in the air at 9,000 feet. It appeared to be suspended vertically with small fins and a mass projecting from the lower end. The object was attacked and partially deflated. Okay, it was a blimp. That was a blimp. I mean, some of this stuff seems obvious, some not so obvious. It's very interesting to look at these old-timey documents. I like that part of it. 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222. Hey, hold on a second. This is the one. All right, this is a video of China, which seems to be something suspended in the air, and it's kind of like slowly breaking apart and then reforming. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. 对呀，有两个东西没在一起，还在围着它旋转。
Any of you guys speak Chinese? It is pretty unusual what they're watching. I have no idea. Don, hello. You've been looking at this stuff. What do you think? 800-848-9222. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, sir. You're awesome to watch. And I used to do a lot of work in your old stomping grounds in Garden City. I used to work for Tomasini. I do security now over at LaSalle. We used to be LaSalle. You mentioned that you knew that area as well. I just wanted to say there's no doubt there's ETs because during World War II, when America detonated those 2 atomic weapons, ET came down and said, do not do that again. And so there's no doubt at all.
Now, wait a second. There's no doubt at all. How do you know an ET came down and said that? That was in a movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still. That very thing. I think you're remembering a movie. That was a movie.
Without a doubt. It's definitely documentation. And now finally Trump is going to disclose this information that it is true.
Well, it doesn't. This doesn't document what you just say it documents. You say an extraterrestrial came here and said, don't blow up anything else. Don't blow up another nuclear bomb. Now, that doesn't, I'm going through these things as fast as I can. I don't see that. Why do you say that? Why do you say there's no doubt that happened? That's a strong statement.
Because it is on film, it is documented. There is, video of it showing them over the Capitol, and there is the time when Truman disappeared, and it's starting to come out now that he did have an encounter with them.
No. You're talking about The Day the Earth Stood Still. It came out in 1950. It's a very good movie. The Martian comes down. Some English actor, I forgot his name, and he moves in on that guy's girlfriend. And she is totally into him, and they suspect he's different, you know what I mean? But they don't know how different. And he makes the announcement, don't mess around with nuclear anymore. And they shoot him, and they kill him, and then the robot brings him back to life just for a little while. And he makes the announcement again, and he gets back on the ship, but not before giving that girl a long, hard look. And you know that they want to commit an act of interstellar lust. I still remember it. Anyway, I think you're talking about the movie, man.
I would call Higby as my favorite. Don't ruin it.
Carl Higby. Well, Carl happens to be my favorite, too, as a guy. But when it comes to TV shows, mine kicks his ass. Thank you, Don. Interesting. I don't think that that's a thing yet, though. I've not seen that. And maybe you saw something I didn't, but I don't think it's so cut and dried. And we've blown up plenty of nuclear since Hiroshima. When you think about it, we have. We've tested neutron bombs, H-bombs, all kinds of bombs. And we've done a lot. All right, Jack, hello, how are you? Is he there?
I'm here.
Okay. You're on the radio. Start talking. What's up?
Hey, awesome, man. Big fan. My name's Avi from Queens. I know you're a religious man, so this is my take on it. I heard this from a big rabbi. He said there's no such thing as aliens because the Torah was given to the people on earth, and that's the whole reason of creation. So if you don't have the Torah, there's no reason for you to be created. So something billions of light years out there, there's no life out there. It's just empty planets.
Well, wait. 1 second about that. 1 second, because before Abraham and Moses, before Abraham, there was no law, right? There was no Torah, but we still had human beings, correct?
Correct, because eventually the Torah would come here.
Well, I know, but it just kind of says what you just said is not the case, right?
You're saying since the beginning you wouldn't have the Torah. They say the world was created from the Torah. The Torah is like the blueprint for the world.
But the blueprint, it came around much later. Adam and Eve were walking around. Remember, they didn't have any Torah. They had the golden rule: don't eat up from that tree. And they blew it. Thanks a lot. You realize we could be in the Garden of Eden right now? Except for that woman playing head games with that dude. What?
You had to work in the Garden of Eden also.
Well, they didn't. They lived in the lap of luxury. Look, this earth of ours is pretty damn cool, by the way. And the conveniences we have right now, amazing. Now, look, I have grappled with that, what you have said, though. You know, does the idea of extraterrestrial life conflict with that we are God's creation? It's another reason why I actually don't believe in extraterrestrial life. I think all of this stuff out there, all of these stars, these far-flung galaxies, God gave us those things so we can study. He gave us those things so we can navigate ships and spaceships. Do you know that we used stars not only to discover America, but to get to the moon the first time? Stars, celestial navigation. All that stuff is for us. So I think we're the only ones in the universe, actually. I do. Not to say that we don't have some unusual phenomena, and I wouldn't mind the answers. I appreciate it, pal. Everything else good with you?
Thank God. Everything is great. I just want to say God bless you. God bless America. I'm really proud of the work you're doing. I love listening to you. You know, very, very like a real man, educated man, you know, with good morals. And you do a lot. You don't just talk. You actually do. So, I respect you very much. And God bless you. Oh, one last thing. Some things that people see as aliens, if they think they saw them, it could be demons. Demons do exist. That's in the Bible.
I think that's a great point, too. I think that's a fantastic point. And also your earlier point about me. Thank you. Thank you, Jack. No, I think that's right about the demons, too. Thank you, sir. We don't know. Now, wait a second. Chris has something to say. Hello, Chris.
How are you, Greg? Yeah, the guy that was talking about where Truman met with aliens, I remember John Katz talking about, the people he knew talking about that. And also, I have a video from my niece's Ring camera with something alienish in it.
So the conclusion is?
Well, it had red eyes and an oblong head and a real skinny body, and it was glitching in and out of something. And then there's two other things in this video that are flying, and I think that's what this thing was glitching in and out with.
Well, do me a favor, upload it, okay? Let's upload it to the interweb. I want to see that stuff, all right? Now, Truman was president during the Roswell incident, the famous Roswell incident in July 47. While Truman was president, Truman created the modern national security state. More on Truman when we come back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here? Oh, it's out of here. Home run Ferry Hawks.
Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball. Come out to the ballpark this week as the Ferry Hawks welcome in the Charleston Dirty Birds May 5th through the 10th. Grab the kids and come on out. We kick it off on Tuesday, May 5th with Cinco de Baseball with $5 tickets and $5 food and beverage specials. And we end the week as we celebrate all moms on Mother's Day. Moms get in free. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.